I'll give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. And pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know that you have not the love of Elohim in you. If another should come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Psalms 88 and 1. O Yahuwah Elohim of my salvation, I have cried day, night before you. Let my prayer come on before you. Incline your ear unto my cry. For my soul is full of troubles, and my life draw near unto the grave. I'm counted with them that go down into the pit. I am as a man no strength, free among the dead like the slain that lie in the grave, whom you remember no more. Be quiet, be quiet. And they are cut off from your hand. You have laid me in the lowest pit, and darkness in the deeps. Your wrath lay hard upon me, and you have afflicted with all your ways. You have put away my acquaintance far from me. You have made me an abomination unto them. I shut up, and I cannot come forth. My eye mourn by reason of affliction. Yahuwah, I have called daily upon you. I've stretched out my hands unto you. Will you show wonders to the dead? Shall the dead arise and praise you, Selah? Shall your loving kindness be declared in the grave, your faithfulness in destruction? Shall your wonders be known in the dark, and your righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? Psalms 45 and 1. Joanne, sit down somewhere. Get over there and sit down. Hush them out. My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of things which I have made, touching the king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. Shalom, Amun. Shalom, Amos. You are fairer than the sons of Adam. Grace is poured into your lips. Therefore, Elohim have baruched you forever. Gird your sword upon your thigh, Almighty, and with your esteem and your majesty. And in your majesty ride prosperously, because of truth, meekness, and righteousness. In your right hand shall teach you terrible things. Proverbs 17 and 9. Shalom, 10K. He that cover transgression seek love. He that repeat a matter separate very friends. Proverbs 10 and 12. Hatred stir up strifes. Love cover all sins. Something came to my mind the other day. Today, I should say. Might have been last night. I can't remember. But I'm going to use it in reference to this particular line right here. Galatians chapter 3, something that we didn't already talk, some things that we already been discussing. Galatians chapter 3, verse 19. Just let it be. Don't fight with her. Wherefore then the law, it was added because of transgressions, to the seed should come to whom the promise was made. It ordained by Malachim in the hands of a mediator. Shalom, Mika. Yes, it was. It was 7:30. It's 7:30. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. Ain't no telling. It's gonna depend on what that storm gonna do. I think it ain't supposed to make land till Tampa till 2 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But it just all depends. Like, it's not gonna be a direct hit here, but we in the cone. So same way that last storm slid through Tallahassee and power went out, it's the same thing gonna happen here. I don't think most of y'all live close to the river, so you ain't gonna have no problems with that. Because contrary to what you might think, a storm surge can affect anybody or water if a hurricane coming. You know what I'm talking about? They don't have to land directly in that city to affect any large mass of water, mainly the river. You know what I'm saying? What they really more worried about is the storm surge in Tampa, because they said basically the model that is going, it's going to literally go through Tampa Bay. If it goes through Tampa Bay, they Peace Brother Omar, they thinking they might get a 10-foot storm surge. I say a lot of people want to think, oh, it's man-made, it's this, that, there, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you what Amos 3 say.
I was just thinking how these hurricanes always come on tabernacles.
Well, I mean, basically because where we live, this is the peak of hurricane season. September and October, August, September, and October is the peak of hurricane season. Hurricane season really starts in June. June and July, it don't really be popping like that. But August, September, and October is when the water is at its warmest, especially in the Gulf. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 3 other hurricanes out there right now. One just is so far out in the Atlantic that it's not going to come nowhere near land. And there's another one kind of far out in the Atlantic. It's probably not going to come out near land. But what's occurring is that Gulf water is warm. And like I said, they want to say it's cloud seeding. It's anything to nobody wants to deal with the fact that this is Yahuwah's doing. As the beginning of that verse says, that hatred stir up strife. You have a land that hate God and you don't think it's going to be contention between you and him. That's just insane. A lot of people think they make these hurricanes come to jack up insurance prices. One thing about greedy capitalists is that they don't need any excuse to do things for money. They believe the flood in North Carolina is for lithium mining for AI. It's anything that come up with a conspiracy theory, because the last thing that anybody want to deal with is this. Amos chapter 3. What a verse that I want. Verse 6. Matter of fact, verse 4. Amos chapter 3, verse 4. He said, will a lion roar in the forest when he have no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have nothing, if he have taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is formed? Shall one take, what's up, Zoe? Can one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahuwah have not done it? Now, of course, you know, a lot of people's conspiracy theory is that a lot of those cities that got flooded in North Carolina were sundown towns. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with what a sundown town is, but a sundown town is basically if you black, don't be caught in that city after sundown. You know what I'm saying? And some people, I seen somebody say, oh, that was the ancestors coming through. Let me tell you something, man. If them people shed innocent blood in that city, he ain't got to get the generation of the people who did it. He get their offspring. He told you he punished to the 3rd and 4th generation. You don't get to tell him when he strike back. You know what I'm saying? So if these people were murdering, and it ain't just because it's black folks, you know, people that you believe is Israelites, it's injustice all the way around the board. It's just going to be magnified if it's people who belong to him. Even more magnified if it's somebody who belongs to him, who serves him in spirit and in truth, is even doubly magnified. Because the same way you would feel about your children if somebody sought to do harm to your children and you would want vengeance and desire blood, he is the same way. There is no difference. He said that the death of his saints is precious in his eyesight, is valuable. See, most of the thing that we like to talk about with his word, as I told you numerous times before, is the logistics and not the actual who this man is, what he about, what he represents, and how he operates. Any evil that go down in the city, man, Yahuwah behind that. Shalom, Brother Marvin. Ain't no Mr. White Man, especially when you talk about natural disasters. But let's take it a step further. Nahum chapter 1. I'll take it a step further. I know some people say, we ain't never seen hurricanes come through here like this here. I say, live a little bit longer. See, that's the arrogancy of man. You think because something went a particular way for 20 years that it's always supposed to go that way. And this is why he told you don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow is the evil thereof. You don't know what tomorrow going to bring. So what ain't a whole bunch of hurricanes came through the Gulf in the 70s and 80s? They coming now. Who told you it was always going to be like that? Your pride told you it was always going to be like that because you thought you could dote around and live your life and do what you want to do. Now, I ain't saying that these people are Edomites, but they have the same attitude that's listed in Malachi chapter 1. If you throw it down, we'll rebuild it. Because that's your arrogance. I can read that for you too. Because man is arrogant. I say I was going. Oh, Nate, peace each, man. Nahum 1 and 1. Nahum 1 and 1. John Joanne, sit your square head behind down somewhere. The burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum the Elshite. Elohim jealous, and Yahuwah revenge, and furious. Yahuwah will take vengeance on his adversaries. He reserved wrath for his enemies. Yahuwah slow to anger, great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Yahuwah have his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. You see that whirlwind, just know Yahuwah in it. He in that. Mr. Charlie ain't in that. Mr. Charlie can't make that. He ain't got that kind of power. Shalom, brother Ernest. But see, it's easier to blame Mr. Charlie than to accept the fact that Yahuwah bring a wrath on your head, right? Listen, everybody see rainbows. They like, oh, they so beautiful. But y'all know what that means. When you see a rainbow, this man is in heaven furious. He's furious. Every time you see a rainbow, this man is furious. Remember, the rainbow is a sign for him not to flood the earth. That means the very things that were going on in Genesis chapter 6, that the way of Yahuwah is corrupted on the earth, the thoughts of man is evil continually. Your hatred is stirring up the contention. No one wants to take heed to that. No one wants to acknowledge that. But I just had to share that. Let me get to I don't want to talk about his destruction on nobody's head tonight. We're not here for that tonight. We can talk about that another day. Y'all come on and sit down. You act like you ain't never been here before. Come on, Renee. Come on and sit on down. Find your seat. It's one right here. It's one right there. Find your seat, Renee. You can sit with Leah. Y'all been sharing stuff all your life. Nothing Nia. Don't come in here playing. Sit it on down. Don't come in here with that noise. I don't have the strength, the fortitude, or the desire to try to speak over you. I'm not going to do it. Galatians 3 and 19. Wherefore then, the law, it was added because of transgressions, to the seed should come to whom the promise was made. Listen. This goes back to the conversation we was having at Matthew 5 and 17. In Matthew 5 and 17, he say that the law won't pass away till what? Till heaven and earth pass. Notice that he said that the law was added till transgression, till the what come? Till the seed come. Till the seed come. That means once the seed come, the law gone, but not gone in the aspect of it's removed and nobody keep it, but gone in this regard. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 7. But that's verse 19, Galatians chapter 3. Hey, sit it on down, bub. Y'all be playing games and y'all aggravating me and y'all irritate me with that. Stop it. Y'all act like you don't know how to behave. You go to school and you don't do none of this. And I've been saying this your whole life, but you come in here and you disrespect me continually. I do not like it. Sit down, be still, close your mouth, open your ears, listen and understand. I'm gonna make it Zephaniah 3 and 5. Pick up, pick up. I cannot overtalk y'all. Just Yahuwah in the midst thereof, he will not do iniquity. Every morning do he bring his judgment to light. He fail not, but the unjust know no shame. Notice that he said he'll do no iniquity. You know what iniquity is? Iniquity is avon. Can you say that? That's the Hebrew word for it. It means to be perverse. You know what it means to be perverse? Pervert means to make something that look right, make it look bad. You know what I'm saying? That might be past the scope of your understanding at this stage of your life, but that's what that means. So Yahuwah don't do that. So when we read 1 John 3, and he tell you that whosoever sin is neither seen him nor known him, that's why people who born of God, they don't do no iniquity. They don't do any of that because he don't do that. Shalom, Jay. When you're born of him, you take on his character. See, the thing that people don't want to do is they don't want to take on his character. They don't want to become him. They like to talk about him. They like to talk about his operation, but they don't want to become him. You got to want to be him. That is the objective. I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I have made their streets waste that none pass by. Their cities are destroyed so that there is no man, that there is no inhabitant. I said, surely you will fear me and you will receive instruction so their dwelling should not cut off. However, I punished them. But they rose early and corrupted all their doings. Therefore, wait you upon me, saith Yahuwah, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation. Even all my fierce anger from all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn the people to a pure language, that they all may call upon the name of Yahuwah to serve me with one consent. Now I ask you to see if you can remember, what does verse 9 refer to? What does Zephaniah 3 and 9 refer to?
More so like the I was thinking about that first John, all Sunday.
I can allow it. That's not what we're looking for specifically, but I can allow it. What is Zephaniah 3 and 9? What is it pointing us to? No, because they weren't all speaking the same language. Remember, it said we heard each man had speaking in our language the wonderful works of God. Come on, I help you out. Genesis chapter 11. You say Psalms 39 and 1. I'll look at it in a second. Come on around here to Genesis chapter 11. Now, what that language will be, I don't know what that language will be. I will not speculate on what that language would be. Some people say that language will be Hebrew. Who knows? God knows. When he said he'll turn the people to a pure language. That's not my place to speak on that, speculate that, or try to go through some scriptures to justify that. Now, some people in these days and times will tell you that that's why you got to learn Hebrew. That's the pure language. But we know right now that everybody is not calling on the name of Yahuwah one. See, pause. Let me take it a step further. Come on over here to Genesis chapter 3. If we're going to take it, if we're going to go there, we're going to go there. I said 3 is 4. I'm sorry. Genesis chapter 4. Verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. For Elohim have appointed me another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. Now, you know it say God made me another seed, but what's the other definition for Seth's name? Compensation. Remember, he said the law was until the what? Till the seed came. Now, Seth is the compensation or the replacement for the righteous seed that was murdered. But he wasn't the seed or the promise, if you would. But this is relevant for one reason. Into Seth, into him also was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then men began to do what? Call upon the name of Yahuwah. Now, how are you able to call upon the name of Yahuwah as forth as understanding goes? What does the text tell you? How are you able to do that? Well, let's take a look at it. Romans 10:14. Go sit down. I have no time for your shenanigans. Romans 10:14, then Psalms 39:1. I see where Derek got on it. Romans 10:14. Make it 13. I'll make it 11. Or shoot, I'm going to have to do 9. Most of y'all here already know what this means, but this is for those who don't. You thinking along Psalms 19? I can dig it. What we looking at Genesis 11, we ain't talked about it in a long time. I know the last time we gave it some real deal focus was literally 10 years ago. Because I remember when it came to mind where I was at and what I was doing. You know what I'm talking about? Romans 10:9. That if you shall confess with your mouth the Lord Yahushua and shall believe in your heart that Elohim have raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. For the heart man believe unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made to salvation. So how are you able to believe from the heart? Because you know that Psalms 53 say the knowledge of my righteous servant will justify many. You can't believe from your heart until we talk about what we read in Hosea. He said, I will speak comfortably to you, or he'll speak to your heart, to your leb. There's no way that you can believe from your heart until that word is spoken to your heart. And that's how you know if it's the voice of the shepherd. If that word is not touching your heart, your inward man, that's not God talking to you. What do I mean? That's not God talking to you. It can be his word talking to you, but it's not his spirit that is manifesting that word through that person. Anybody can speak a word. You're not grown. You can get that door for me, please, brother. It's dark outside. You don't do that. Mm-mm. So you have to keep that in mind. Like I said, I am not the vanguard of righteousness or spiritual, scriptural, or godly understanding by any stretch of the imagination. This word was here before I was born. It was being manifested before I understood it, and it's being manifested after I understood it, and it'll be manifested after I be rotting in the grave. You understand? So you have to be listening for the voice of the shepherd. You have to know the voice of your God and be listening for that. Don't get caught up in code of personality. Don't get caught up in intellectual superiority. Don't get caught up in nothing other than listen for the voice of God. And if you don't hear the voice of God, you need to depart. And that's it. Unless you there for a different reason, and it don't necessarily got to be the wicked reason. You know what I'm saying? Well, praise be to Yahuwah. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got to be a week, because sometimes it could be a case study. Everybody has different reasons. You know, it's times I sit down and listen to dudes and I hear how stupid they is. I do that for different reasons. But I know if you don't have a particular reason that could be beneficial to you and you just sitting there listening, I would advise you not to do that for your own soul's sake. Just depart. Verse 11. For the scriptures say, whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed. Remember, that's Isaiah 28. He's a chief stone, a sure foundation. See, you building your house on him. Everybody knows you can't build a house till you lay the foundation down first. The law and the prophets is the foundation because they bear witness to the Son of God. So therefore, that's why, remember what we read in Hebrews 1 last night. The law and the prophets, and different times he spoke to the people through the law and the prophets. But in the latter days, he's spoken to us by his Son. This is the foundation. And then the foundation that he put up on top of that was Peter. And then the house get built brick by brick after that. There's no difference between the Yahudim and the Greek. For the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And that's what we just read in Genesis. He say, how then shall they call on him whom they have not believed? So how can Seth call on him? How can Enos call on him? And who taught him? Now that's the question. Who taught him? Adam taught him. Who taught Adam? God did. So you know what that makes Adam? That makes Adam an apostle. See, they were having a question was asked yesterday. I think I told you that. Ironically, after we discussed it, they say, well, were the disciples prophets? Remember, we already talked about that. Are they prophets in the sense of being a Nabi? No, they're not. Because Yahuwah didn't appear to them in a vision or a dream. That's what Numbers 12 say. This is how you know if somebody's a prophet. He appears to you in a vision or a dream. But these men were taught directly by God as far as the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach is concerned. Flesh and blood didn't teach them that. What flesh and blood man taught Adam? I'll wait. Ain't no flesh and blood man taught Adam. Yahuwah taught Adam. And then Adam taught Seth. And he taught Enos, obviously, because Adam was still alive. Which is something that a lot of brothers don't realize is culturally how they live. If the oldest male in the family was still alive, he still dictated and instructed the males of his household. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no, you move out and Pops ain't got nothing to say to you. Granddaddy ain't got nothing to say to you. Look here, granddaddy is still going to take orders from great-granddaddy if great-granddaddy's still alive. Granddaddy's still going to take instruction from great-granddaddy if great-granddaddy's still alive. That was the function in the order. That's how what we were talking about a few weeks back. That's how wisdom is passed down. You know what I'm saying? When you got young people mixing with young people, then wisdom don't get passed down. Stupidity get passed around. You say they are prophets by proxy. Yeah. And I hadn't got to that point. I hate tomorrow. Which is, the testimony of Yahushua is the Ruach of prophecy. So them bearing witness of the Son is the breath of prophecy, but they wouldn't be prophets. But that's because most people don't understand or know what an apostle is and how a man is made to be an apostle. Only God can make you an apostle. There's no ceremony you can go through to become an apostle. You see somebody going through an apostolic ceremony, you know he ain't an apostle, walk away. If this man say he an apostle and he can't preach Yahushua HaMashiach from Genesis to Malachi, you walk away. That man's not an apostle. That's what, people think that verse of Revelation, when the Lord said this, I'm going to read it to you. They think he's talking about Paul because he's simple in the brain because they don't know what an apostle is. They think an apostle is somebody who walked with the Lord. That don't make you an apostle. When that man resurrected from the dead, it was only 11 men with him who got taught what he taught. Then when the lot fell on Matthias and he received the Ruach taught him that. See, a lot of people say the Ruach will lead you in all truth, and they think that means it's going to take you to study this and study that. That's not what that means. You already heard the word, believe the word in you. He going to bring to your memory what you have already heard from the scripture. That's what that means. Yeah, but you would have already been taught that. So once you receive the word and now you receive the spirit, that is going to bring to mind everything that he's already said to you. So for him to have already said it to you, you would have already what? Had to have heard it. That's what it means. Or how can you believe on him whom you have not heard? See, people don't want to understand the order and I understand why people don't want to understand the order of operation. Most people are rebellious. Most people are very, very proud and arrogant. Ain't nobody gonna teach me. You know what I'm saying? This is how people operate. Most people hate masculine authority, instruction, and leadership. Most of them hate themselves. And they believe that they can go around the order of God and do it their way. And that's why he said, if you try to climb up some other way, you're a thief in the rock. Because you got to do it his way. You can't do it your way. Then when you just sit down and you look at life, period, nobody teaches themselves. There are very few people in this world who do things and they're self-taught. You have self-taught musicians. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's too many self-taught engineers. You can't self-teach yourself to be a lawyer. You can't self-teach yourself to be a martial art expert. You can't self-teach yourself to be a warrior. Somebody has to train you in that art and discipline. So when it comes down to certain disciplines, people don't really have respect for the art. And that's unfortunate. Because when you look at the annals of history, irregardless of nationality, irregardless of culture, disciplines were passed down from elder to the youth. They raised them, they taught them, they trained them, which is what those protocols were about. It was about eliminating that process from happening and allowing the powers that be to do that. Therefore, your children are less inclined to be influenced by you, therefore less inclined to respect your wisdom. You say Psalms 49, 3 and 5, yes, sir. Hey, leave him alone. Why are you grabbing my son? Now you almost pushed his head into that table. Leave him alone. Wow, going Revelation chapter. Dwayne Jamal, leave stuff alone. Revelation 2 and 1. Unto the Malachim of the synagogue of Ephesians write, these things saith he that hold the 7 stars in his right hand, who walk in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. Ah, you're a little quicker than that, huh? You're getting wise on this one, boy. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Yeah, they staring at you. Go find your mom. Because you touch this stuff. Liam, you'll grab him when you come back. I say when you come back. No, you were going somewhere. Finish what you were doing, and then you can come get it. I guess not. I'm talking about the baby, boy. The baby. You grab the baby. Revelation in the 7 Getty, he said, I know your works and your labor, this is verse 2, and your patience, and how you cannot bear them which are evil, and you have tried them which say they are an apostle and are not, and have found them liars. The average person don't even know how to try you to see if you're an apostle. They don't even know, because they don't even know what it is. They don't even know. Listen here. Y'all already know this for the most part. An apostle is the highest office in the body of Mashiach. Simply because that man has the witness of the Son of God. So he has to disseminate that information to everyone else. So he has to disseminate that to the pastor. He has to disseminate that to the teacher. He has to disseminate that to the evangelist. See, what makes it a high, that's why apostles and prophets are high jobs, because those are the 2 jobs that God makes you those jobs. A man can't make you that. A man can make you a pastor, and a man can make you a teacher, and a man can make you an evangelist. Contrary to popular belief, an evangelist is not a traveling preacher. That's somebody who, I'll give you the definition. Come over here to Acts 21. Matter of fact, make it 2 Timothy 4. 2 Timothy 4 and 1. 2 Timothy 4 and 1. 2 Timothy 4 and 1. I charge therefore before Elohim and the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead of his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. But watch you in all things, endure afflictions, and do the work of an evangelist. Make full proof of your ministry. Now, an evangelist is angelistes, that is a bringer of good tidings, an evangelist, the name given to New Testament heralds of salvation through Christ who are not apostles. So these are individuals who bring the gospel, but they're not apostles. So these are not necessarily men who are over congregations. That's why the traveling part come in. But they're a preacher of the gospel. They're a representation of Isaiah 52 and 7. But again, they're not over a congregation. But the same qualifications of a minister, a quote unquote deacon, and a pastor it still applies. Now, when he tell you to make your full proof of your ministry, of course, you know that's the word for deacon, and that's to serve. And that could be the office of a prophet, the office of an elder, an office of an apostle. It's the administration and execution of your job. The same thing that we talked about when we dealt with the 24 courses of the Levites. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a function in that job. That takes you back to what we talked about in 1 Corinthians 12. Is everybody an apostle? Is everybody a prophet? It's no different than any company. It's no different than anybody in the military or a police force or a football team. Everybody don't have the same job. Everybody don't do the same thing. Everybody is a cog in the machine to further the aim and vision of the organization. What's began to occur with the word is most individuals are more concerned with furthering their own personal aims and their own personal visions. And there's lying and putting Yahuwah's name on it. Come on back to Romans 10. We got Zephaniah 3 on deck and Galatians 3 also. But you try an apostle by simply knowing, see if he got that gospel on it. Find you a verse and say, hey, brother, what that mean? I told y'all that plenty of times, man. If you want to know if dudes is claiming they pastors and apostles, they taught by God, they got the Holy Ghost and all this type of stuff. Okay, brother, explain this because you already know the answer to the verse. So you're not asking them this to battle with them. What does 1 John 4 and 1 tell you to do? To test them. Ain't that what it say? Anybody who a God is not going to be upset because you proved him. God said don't test him. He didn't tell you not to test man. Any preacher who tell you, you can't ask me questions, who you want to prove me? You already know God ain't with us. Them people tried the Lord all the time. He never backed down. He ain't cared nothing about showing and proving. Now, he knew when they were tempting with wickedness, and he still showed and proved after that. Because he said, why you tempting me? Remember when they came and brought the coin? Who should we get this to? And the first thing he said out of his mouth, why tempt me? Because they weren't tempting him for the answer. Shalom, Sister Kelly. They were tempting him to see if they could catch him up. He knew what they were doing. That's why when he hit him with, give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's and God unto God, they didn't know what to do with that because they weren't expecting that answer. Come over here to 1 John 4 and 1. No, an evangelist is not wouldn't be titled under 1 Timothy 3 because an evangelist doesn't have to be over a congregation. An evangelist is just literally a bringer of the gospel. That's why I say that's where the traveling part come in at, where people think it's just a traveling preacher. They weren't over an assembly. You know what I'm saying? Evangelists could go from spot to spot. An evangelist could preach right in where he's at. You know what I'm saying? The only difference is he's not an apostle. Somebody taught him that. That's why he told Timothy was an evangelist. See, an evangelist doesn't necessarily have to be married because Timothy wasn't married. See, an evangelist, a prophet, and an apostle do not have to be married. That's not a part of their job qualification. But in an assembly, if you say you a pastor, if you say you a minister, because I don't like to use the term deacon because it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's really just coming from that Greek word. You have to have a wife. Because you have to know how to framework to watch over a house because you're already doing it naturally. See, they've been having this conversation on Clubhouse about that. It only said you got to have one wife. Look here, man. The standard of a bishop is following the standard of Mashiach. Mashiach only got one wife. So you can't be no pastor and you got 3-4 wives. Because the chief shepherd, the chief bishop, he ain't got but one. So how you going to have more than him who outrank you? But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. That's like, oh yeah, it's small, subtle things for you to know that God ain't hired these people. Anybody who's hired by God is always going to line up with his word. Not try to find a way to not line up with it and then justify why he don't. But you know, black folks don't care about that. You don't care nothing about that. Nah, brother. See, it's lawful for you to have 3-4 wives. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Get your 5. Get your 7 of them, nigga. But when you see the Lord, don't be shocked when he say, cuz, I don't know you, cuz. I don't even know why you came around here. I don't fool with your kind. Yeah, man. I remember years ago, man, that's when we was in Atlanta, Dwight. I remember this one here. We were talking to that boy, Carl. Oh, Israel Doctrine. That boy say, they were talking about multiple wives. I say, okay, check this out. I say, I'm going to run you this play. You can do whatever the play you want to do with it. None of my business. I say, man, I say, do the law say you'll be king, a kingdom of priests? He said, yeah. I say, does Revelation 4 and 5, I think it's 5, it says, has his not his blood made you kings and priests? He said, yeah. I say, the law said the king shouldn't do what? Multiply wives. I said, is Mashiach king? He said, yeah. I said, do the book say you're supposed to follow in his footsteps? He said, yeah. I said, how many wives he got? He said, 1. I said, and there go your answer. Because if he redeemed you to be a king and priest, and your law say you only have 1, and your king only got 1, and you got 3, you going to hell. And you can take that how you want to take it. You know what I'm saying? And you can scream what the law say, and the Lord going to say, and I say, to hell you go. Because you said that you were a king. Don't you nigga walk around and say, what's up, king? What David had, it don't matter what David had. A greater than David is here. Don't talk to me about what Solomon had. A greater than Solomon is here. I don't want to hear that. That's what niggas love to bring up. Don't bring me up somebody lesser than the Lord. To beat that show standard. David's not my standard. Solomon's not my standard. Yahusha is my standard. I follow him. I don't follow them. They following him. They gonna look at you like, nigga, don't put that on me. The Lord said unto my Lord. He gonna look at you. Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. But see, they don't want to hear that. And that's why I don't get into them discussions, because that's going to go above their head, and they're going to say, you interjecting that in the text and all this extra stuff. And see, I've been done told them some things that I probably shouldn't say publicly. Because I'm not finna go back and forth with you, because I'm locked in on that. I just don't care about how many wives you got, bro. But I know you're not justified in his eyesight. Not if you say you a vanguard of righteousness. You's a liar if you ever told one. 1 John 4:1 though. But that's just me though. I just go where the Ruach go. And that way it take me to that where I'm going. I ain't gonna say something because like I said, I don't have a personal preference. I don't care how many wives a dude got. What I care for, I ain't got to sleep with him. I ain't got to please him. I ain't got to take care of him. I ain't got to dress him. I ain't got to do none of that. So it don't matter nothing to me. But if the testimony of the Son of God take me here and then take me there and show me this what the perfect will of God is, then that's what it is, cuz, and you can do what you want to with it. I'm not finna argue with you. Holler at him about it when you see him. That's all I got for you. That's all I got. I ain't got nothing else. You give yourself some peace like that when you know what you know. I'm not finna argue with you, cuz again, I don't have a personal preference. Why do I care about how many women a dude got? I don't think about that. Now, if a woman come to me and be like, he trying to get multiple wives, well, baby, do you want to be down with that or not? Now, if she asks me my scriptural perspective, I'll give it to you. But don't try to use me to run up on this dude and say, see, he said you wrong. See, I'm not finna participate in that, because you're not finna use me as a mediator in y'all relationship fight to say, no, you're not justified. Because, baby, if you don't want to deal with that, just don't mess with it. Don't bring me into that, because I'm not finna scriptural battle with this dude. I'm not. And I've known some women who have done that and tried to bring me. No, don't bring me into that, baby. I'm not getting involved with that. That's between you, him, and Yahuwah. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But if you say you want to do it, don't complain about what you agreed to and then ask, is it righteous or not? Because if I've already explained it to you and then you go do it anyway, I'm not finna keep, no, man, don't come at me. Well, is it righteous or not? I already explained this to you. Don't come at me with that. I don't want to hear that. I done had people ask, am I really married before? If I don't explain this to you before, I'm not finna keep telling you the same thing. I've already told you. You grown, you got to make a decision. The people who mad at me now, because I'm going to tell you right now, it said, yeah, bringing you into it is the same way a chick getting in an altercation with another man and putting yourself in there. Yeah, and I'm not finna do that. Because I know how these dudes get by their women. I ain't got time for that. Because if people done got mad, you told that woman not to marry me. I mean, she asked me my opinion. What you thought I was supposed to tell her? I'm supposed to tell her the truth. I didn't tell her never to marry you. I just said if I was you, if you were my daughter, if you were my niece, if you were my sister, if you were my granddaughter, based off the information you gave me, I would tell you, baby, don't do that right now. I wouldn't marry him if I was you. It's not my job to tell her to justify you because you feel like we brothers and we supposed to be down. My job is to judge righteously and do the work of Yahuwah. Not to justify you so you can get what you want. That's not my job. And I ain't going to do it. So if you want somebody to do that, find another nigga. John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every ruach, but try the ruachs whether they are of Elohim. Because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know you that the ruach of Elohim, every ruach that confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Elohim. Every ruach that confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And the only way they can confess that is through the scriptures. He that believe on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Anybody can say Jesus came in the flesh, but that don't mean, remember, he said confession comes from the heart. See, come on back to Romans 10. You see how it all tie in together. See it right here in Romans 10. It says, for with the heart men believe unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. He said, I believe, therefore I have spoken. That's what Psalms say. So you can't confess unless you believe. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. And the only way you can confess is by believing, and the only way you can believe is by somebody preaching that to you. So if you want to know if they got to be able to bring the witness. Because if they can't bring the witness, what confession are they making? This is not a faith of, it's only a blind faith in this regard. He said, blessed are your eyes because you have seen, but blessed are those eyes who have not seen yet have believed. You didn't lay your eyes on this, but you believe the testimony of those who did. It's no different than, for sure, Dave, it's no different than you believe in certain things that your grandma or granddaddy or mama told you or your daddy told you, but you didn't lay your eyes on them. But you believe they witnessed. This is dealing with believing a witness. Not just, oh, I don't believe it, though I can't see it. It's believing a witness. That's why he said, we said that Yahushua rose from the grave and he didn't. He said we become a false witness of God. We lying on him. We saying he said something he didn't say. We saying he did something he didn't do. That's why one of the 10 is don't bear false witness. A lot of these dudes bear false witness on God every time they preach. Take this to your auntie. Tell her to make some more, please. Thank you. Romans 10 and 11. What's up with that? For the scriptures say, whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed. There's no difference between the Yahudim and the Greek. For the same Lord is rich over all, is rich unto all that call upon him. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the Basar of Shalom and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah saith, Yahuwah, who have believed our report. So then faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word of Elohim. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, truly their sound went out into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. That's the Psalms 19 that Ish mentioned. Let's take a look at Psalms 19 before we go back to Zephaniah 3. Do all elders supposed to have godly wisdom or select few? Let me read you Job 32 for your answer before I read Psalms 19. And I got to get Psalms 49. And Dave be dropping them. Y'all got to keep up with Dave in the chat. Dave drops scriptures like he got a switch. They say that's what they caught Little Cracker with. So they found him with guns with serial numbers scratched off. Then they found one with a switch. That boy going to prison. Where is that? Job 32, verse 6. Job 32 and 6. And Elio, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young and you are very old. Wherefore I was afraid and do not show my opinion. Stop. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. See, that's just out of respect. I don't know if we had that same level of respect in these days and times where you feel like somebody who's older than you, that you should hold your peace until they finish talking. See, now we kind of at a point where you feel like you equal to your elder. And I know why that's the case, because most people who's supposed to be elders are still trying to run with and hang in the same places that the youth do. So they don't really see a delineation between them and the elder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of young women don't see a difference between them and elder women because the elder women still in the clubs or doing X, Y, Z that they doing. On top of the fact of, when you take into account, a lot of girls had children very young. So then in turn, their children had children young, and they became grandmothers before a time period that they believed that they should have been one. So that's why they come up and say, I'm a grandma or all this other stuff, because they don't want to be that elder stateswoman in the family who has a multitude of wisdom, because she don't have no wisdom because she's still running the street. Because she a grandma at 36. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up and down. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm telling you, I know it is several girls I went to school with who are grandmothers. I'm 44. They've been grandmas. You know what I'm saying? I got homeboys who grandparents and who are younger than me. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, ideally, most people became grandparents in their 50s. So there was a level of life experience that you had that you would be able to do. And, you know, it's different now. It's different now. It just is what it is. It's not one thing about it. It's not about if it's right. It's not about if it's wrong. It just is. See, a lot of people on the internet, they get upset about stuff when we just talking about the reality of what's outside. It doesn't matter if I agree with it. It doesn't matter if it's not that I'm trying to castigate these people, but I can't deny the reality of life. A 36-year-old woman don't want to be that elder to give wisdom to the youth because she still believes I'm still in my youth. So in turn, the younger people don't look at her like y'all might have looked at your grandma and great grandma. Because the distance between you and them was so far, you didn't never look at her and think she was a peer. See, we done got to the point that the older men, the women, the youth look at them as peers. You know what I'm saying? They don't look at it like I'm not your peer. And that's why the younger generation's stupid. Because they don't have any older people to learn from. And then the older people who they could learn from, their arrogance won't allow them to do so. Verse 7, I think I already said, I said days should speak and multitude of years should teach wisdom. There's the ruach in a man and the inspiration of the Almighty give them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. So it's always been like that. Just because somebody old don't mean they smart. They could be an old fool. And you have to have the discernment to know if they're an old fool. But you still give them the proper respect, whether they wise or they foolish. See, a lot of younger people feel like, well, if he's stupid, I ain't got to respect him. You may not respect his wisdom, but you need to respect him as someone who's older than you. He said respect the hoary head. He didn't say respect the hoary head if he was wise or if he was smart or if he was dumb or if he was foolish. He said just respect it. That's right, Dave. Come on over here to what it was. Yes. Joy, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
She said somebody married. She said that will God be married like somebody that you don't have children with?
You have a child with the person, and then you marry somebody else, and the person that you had a child with is not married to you.
Well, I mean, that's a sin that you probably did before you got in the Word. That's a totally different scenario. There's a lot of people had kids before they knew God. I mean, they were sinning before they had the child. You got to take a breath. You're scared to talk. You don't talk like that any other time. Why are we going at? Come on, Psalms 19. Buffett be doing the same thing. Y'all know how to talk. When you want something, you don't talk like that, do you? Huh? I know it. But you think somebody gonna beat you up because you ask a question? You think somebody gonna come off the top rope and hit you with an elbow? You think you're gonna get suplex? Boston crab? Figure 4 leg lock? You don't know what none of those are, do you? Yes, my man. How may I help you? Huh? What? One. One what? You being funny. Psalms 19:1. She said more women feel like advice would be coming from an envious place. Thank you. I could see that. At least I got an older dude I worked with got mad when I responded with yes and no, sir. He was honestly shocked. Oh, you stop. Oh, I missed the first one. You said I was talking personally to a sister a few months ago. I noticed they're more inclined to give younger man wisdom than wisdom. It could be an elder. Yeah. I mean, shoot, if that's what you're seeing in life, that's what you're seeing. I can see that. I mean, because I know a lot of women think other women be hating on them. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother dynamic. But I would look at, why do you got people around you who you feel like don't want to see you succeed in whatever it is that you're doing? That means you would need to assess the type of people you got around you. And I don't think that's indicative to women. I know they say women are catty and all this other type of stuff. I think that's just more so you got the wrong friends. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, dudes do the same stuff. They just do it in a different fashion. You know what I'm saying? Because dudes be hating on niggas and talking down on niggas and saying slick stuff about, you know what I'm saying, what people trying to do or got going on. You know what I'm saying? You just got to assess if people fool with you or not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the people you around, they don't really fool with you like that. Hey, man, come on, man. You're going to stretch your shirt out. Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the esteem of Elohim, and the firmament show his handiwork. Day to day utter speech, and night to night show knowledge. No speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Every time somebody go outside and look at that sky above, the gospel being preached. You know what I'm saying? Gospel being preached. But that's a little different than what we read in Zephaniah 3. Let me get that Psalm 49 from the doctor. He said, my mouth, the Psalms 49:3, by the way. My mouth speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart be of understanding. I will incline my ear unto a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the heart. Wherefore should I fear the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heels shall be compassed about? That's a different deal. That's dealing with Mashiach dropping the mysteries on them. And then they come to kill him. Hey, don't start. Do not start. Do not start. Come on over here to Zephaniah 3, by the way. But do you see how that went, the Genesis 4 to the Romans 10, to them calling on him out of pure consent? Everybody calling on him for the pure language has heard the word and believed. I probably ain't gonna get to what I had in my mind to get to, but praise the Lord, it'll work out anyway. Yeah. All right, we're in Zephaniah 3 and 9. I'm gonna read that again, and we're gonna go back to Genesis 11 and 1. Then I will turn the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahuwah to serve him with one consent. Now, let's go back to Genesis 11. Genesis 11 and 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Now, let me ask you this question. Matter of fact, let's come over here to Revelation 21 and 24. Maybe that'll help you out before I ask this question. Matter of fact, I'm going to read Revelation 21 and 1 first. I want to set the stage completely that you understand what's being conveyed. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I saw the Kadesh city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim, out of Shamaim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And out a great voice out of Shamaim, saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them. And they shall be his people, and Elohim himself be with them, and be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. There shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Now, something else just came to my mind. In Jeremiah chapter 3, let me add this in here, and I'm going to add this question also. Jeremiah chapter 3. Lil Dwight, you ain't been talking all week. Now you want to talk. Little smiling boy. What's up, little smiling boy? Let me see what verse I want. No, don't fool with that, son. That's hot. It's hot, son. It's hot. Yeah, that's hot. Come over here to Jeremiah 3 and 14. It is hot. It's hot tea. Say, turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you. And I will take you one of a city, two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Now, when he tell you that he going to give you shepherds, he said they're going to be shepherds according to his inner man, his spirit. And they'll give you the knowledge and understanding of God. You have to pay attention to that. I actually know of a pastor who says repeatedly he's a Jeremiah 3 and 15 pastor. I beg to differ personally. Some people believe it. That's their business. And it said, and it shall come to pass when you be multiplied and increased in the land in those days, saith Yahuwah, they shall say no more the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. Now, what did we just read in Revelation 21 and 21? He said everything in the old heaven and earth will not be what? Remembered. Now, I want you to come over here to Revelation 21. I want you to look at verse what? 24? We can make it 22. And I saw no temple there. For Yahuwah Elohim Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. I know a lot of people have contentions about that because of the temple that they see in Ezekiel. But if the man said ain't going to be no temple there, then it ain't going to be no temple there. Why? Because God is the house. You don't need a temple when God there. You know why you don't need no temple? Because he's dwelling there in his tabernacle. He don't need no temple. He brought his house to you. Remember it said in Isaiah 45, he said he did not make the earth vain, he made it to be inhabited. So what the man is coming to do is, this heaven and earth has been defiled. This man's so merciful that he gonna work a work and say, nah, y'all ain't got to come up here to live with me. I'm gonna come down there and live with you. Because that was my desire from the jump street. They don't like to pay attention to that. They don't want to hear that. Why they don't want to hear it? I have my theories and thoughts. Remember, he said that Jerusalem would be like what? What we read in Isaiah 51. What he said it'd be like? The Garden of Eden. Was there a temple in the Garden of Eden? Exactly. Paradise don't need a temple. Because God is the house. But there's a reason for that. He said, and the city had no need of the sun, neither the moon to shine in it, for the esteem of Elohim did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Now, y'all know why there ain't going to be no sun and moon there, because what does Genesis 8 and 22 say? Just for those who don't know, because I'm finna say it wrong, I don't want to say it wrong. That's right, Omar, indeed. He said, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. So if he making a new heaven and a new earth, that earth don't remain. So that means once the new heaven and new earth come, all that stuff stop. Ain't no day and night. Ain't no seed time. Ain't no summer and winter. Ain't no night and day. Ain't no cold and heat. God did. What you need, the light of the sun, and Elohim is light, and no part darkness. These dudes don't want to dwell with God. They don't want to dwell with him at all. Verse 24. And the nations of them which will walk in it shall, them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their esteem and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day. There shall be no night there. And they shall bring the esteem and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defile, neither work abomination or a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Now listen, I done forgot my question. But I remember my second one. Why do you believe that he'll tell you that the Ark of the Covenant won't even come to mind? It won't even be remembered. And it's not based off previous times we discussed that. Don Joanne, don't play walk. Why do y'all believe that he said the Ark of the Covenant won't be remembered? You won't visit it or nothing. Now the Ark, what's inside the Ark? The 2 tables of stones. What's above the Ark? The mercy seat. Now, based off of understanding, why do you believe he'll tell you you won't remember it, it won't come to mind, and you won't visit it? Now, you definitely ain't going to need it, but I'm trying to go a step further. While y'all think on that, come over here to Galatians 3:19. All this, what I'm talking about, is the reality of how love covers sins, by the way. Let me finish Galatians 3. We still holding Zephaniah 3 and Genesis 11. We got a little bit more time, and I'm going to get on out the way. Galatians 3:19. Wherefore then the law, it was added because of transgression to the seed should come, whom the promise was made, ordained by Malachim in the hand of a mediator. And you would be correct in it. Now a mediator is not a mediator of one, but Elohim is one. The law then against the promises of God, God forbid. If there had been given a law which should have given life, truly righteousness should have been by the law. But the scripture has included all under sin that the promise of faith by Yahushua HaMashiach might be given to them that believe. But before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto faith which should afterwards be revealed. Now, Civic just hit the answer. What is by definition, what does the mercy seat mean? Huh? It's a place, it's the seat of atonement. What you need the Ark of the Covenant for in the new heaven and new earth? What atonement going to be made? Ain't nobody going to be sinning. Then on top of that, he said that the law was until the promise came. If the new heaven and new earth is came, ain't no need for the law, because he told you in Genesis chapter 2, don't touch it lest you die. Paul told you that the law was not for a righteous man, but for sinners. There's no need for the Ark of the Covenant there because there's no sinners there. So since it ain't no sinners there, there's no need for atonement there. That's why you we don't need that. God can sit on his throne freely. All because this man love covered your sin. Let's go back to Genesis 11. I can't even remember what my initial question was. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. He was asking before he asked you was talking about Revelation 21.
Yeah, but that was based off what the first question was going to be, and I don't remember. He said the whole earth was of one language and one speech. Now ask yourself this question. If everybody in the kingdom of heaven, remember, not the kingdom of Amashiach, kingdom of Amashiach and the kingdom of heaven are two different dominions. The kingdom of heaven is the kingdom of his father. That's what Paul said, he'll deliver up to the kingdom to his father, and everything will be all in all. That's why you see a temple in Ezekiel and all that type of stuff, because that's the Lord's kingdom. That's a different deal. It's people going to be dying in that kingdom. You know what I'm saying? It's people who may need an atonement in that kingdom. Remember, because all the people coming up, everybody, when he come back, he ain't killing everybody. Remember, you're going to be burying the bodies of Gog and Magog for 7 months. People believe the battle of Gog and Magog is before the Lord come, when it clearly show you it's after. That's why Gog and Magog is these people and that people. They ain't no people. Not no people you try to make them be. Most of these niggas ain't gonna be alive to see what Gog and Magog got to do. Because the book says you'll be dwelling in cities and unwalled villages at peace when these people come up and try to do something to you. He said the people who've been brought back from the sword. And if they were brought back from the sword, guess who that means they were brought back from? Esau. Because we read that last night, did we not? Hey, cut it out. Cut it out. Listen to the next. What a lot of people look at the Tower of Babel as an evil thing. It doesn't necessarily say that it's an evil thing. That's something that we insinuate into it. Oh, well, in the kingdom of Mashiach, you would need food, but in the kingdom of heaven, no, you would need food there. Because we will be like unto God. That's why he say, and the children of the resurrection are like unto the Malachim. They're not given into marriage or get married. Because then you'll be like your Father in heaven. So the things that an earthly man needs, you would not need nor require. Yeah, you're gonna have, and you can't be in the kingdom of heaven and defecate. Because remember, he told you if you defecated, you have to go outside the camp. Yeah, the kingdom of Mashiach in heavenly time is one day. In man's time, it's 1,000 years. That's right. The wedding feast occurs in with the new heaven and new earth. You know what I'm saying? He tell you in Revelation 19, let me get it for you. I got you in just a second. Hold on. Revelation 19. I'm talking about, oh my, go ahead, bro.
With the wedding feast, they prepare on the inside how you had it done. That's why during his kingdom, he's teaching people the word, faith.
Hey, stop it! Now, sit down. Revelation 19:7. Now understand that, I say this here, the marriage supper of the Lamb, pardon me. The marriage supper of the Lamb is after the destruction of Babylon and the coming of the Lord. This is when the Lord is about to take his wife. You know what I'm talking about? So pardon me. He said, even those who get glorified. No, if you have an esteemed body, you don't need food. You wouldn't need any food. Remember, he said there'll be no more pain, no more death, no more crying, no more tears. He said everything in this world is over and it will never be remembered. You won't even mention it. That's a blessing. That's when people be like, oh, you're going to remember your old family members. It's not about that. You're not going to remember anything that was done under this heaven or this earth. That's why Peter said, those of us who are of the promise, we seek a new heaven where dwell righteousness. See, it's not righteousness under this heaven. You know why? Because it's a whoremonger out here right now. It's an idolater out here right now. It's a fornicator out here right now. It's a murderer out here right now. It's a liar out here right now. So we can't say righteousness is up under this heaven. It's not possible. It's not possible. But under the new heaven and new earth, it's righteousness dwelling there. Ain't no sin there. That's right, Dave. And that's where that 1 Corinthians 15 come in at. You got terrestrial bodies, you got celestial bodies. You know what I'm saying? And we seek to take on the celestial. See, when he tell you flesh and blood can't inherit the kingdom, y'all know this because we didn't talk about it before. What does the law say? The life is in the what? In the blood. If any one of us right here, if I cut you right now and you start bleeding, you will die. You know what I'm talking about? So Mashiach poured out the blood and got filled with the Ruach. That's why he say flesh and bone don't have, he said, spirit don't have flesh and bone as you see me have. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the Ruach that give life. The blood don't give life. That's why flesh and blood can't get in. Because if you got the blood in you, that means you ain't poured all that out and got filled with the ruach. So you can't get in. Like that lady came at me talking about born again just mean this here. See, a lot of Israelites teach, more specifically IOG, they do teach that you, and I know the dude, my man's, he teach the same thing, that you're not born again to the resurrection of the dead. I'm like, bro, that's not being born again, cuz. Being born again is being born of the word. Basically making a new heart and a new spirit, not a new body. Not having to come out the grave. No, man, that's terrible teaching. Oh, well, see, you got the last trumpet, and that's when the Lord comes. If you in the grave when the Lord comes and the spirit is in you, then you will resurrect from the dead. See, there's two resurrections. He tell you that in Revelation 20 and 5. You know, blessed are those who have part in the first resurrection, upon whom the second death have no power. You know what I'm talking about? So everybody at the coming of the Lord does not get a glorified body. The only people who get a glorified body at the coming of the Lord are those who are filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, whether they're alive or whether they're resting. If you are filled with the Ruach HaKodesh when the Lord come back, you will be changed in an instant. And you'll be like him. If you have the Ruach HaKodesh in you at the coming of the Lord and you are in the grave, then you will hear his voice and you will come out the grave and you'll be changed in an instant. So after that occurs, the Lord will subdue the nations. And again, everybody doesn't die. So those who are not filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, they have to come under the subjection of Yahuwah. That's why you read in Zechariah 14, if they don't come up, it ain't going to be no rain. Remember, he just said summer and winter, seed time and harvest time. What need is there to Feast of Tabernacles in the new heaven and new earth if ain't no harvest time? So when you deal with Mashiach's kingdom, which is one day, in heaven's time, but in our time, it's a millennium. That's why Isaiah 65 say, you know, the infant won't fulfill his days, but the sinner die and he will be accursed. Peace, you to die. So there will be children born in the kingdom of Mashiach. There will be people living in who are flesh and blood, who don't have an esteemed body in the kingdom of Mashiach, and they will die. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say the second resurrection come. And then let me just run some of these verses down. What I just mentioned. No, I'm taking some others. I did mention that. I appreciate it. Come over here to Job 14. I'm going to try to make it quick as possible. I ain't trying to keep it all night. It's 9, 12. And to make it easier for you. Listen to Job 14, verse 10. But a man die and waste away, yea, man give up the ghost, where is he? As the waters fell from the sea and the flood decay and dry up, so man lay down and rise not till the heavens be what? No more. So what did he tell you the heavens would do at his return? They would roll up like a scroll. So this is telling you that man will lie down and not get up out of the grave until he come back. Now I'll get the verses to validate that. Yes, souls can be saved in Mashiach's kingdom because everybody is not going to be. It's not the same. It's still the same heaven and earth from the beginning of creation. See, for some of y'all who ain't been around here and heard us go through this before, the same thing he did in Genesis chapter 1, he going to do on the back end. So that's why he said, I make all things new. So everything he did in Genesis chapter 1, he going to do it again. The difference is, the darkness will be the beginning because it's sin in the earth. But then once he say, let there be light, ain't no more darkness. Ain't going to be no in the evening, in the morning, with the first day. It's just going to be morning, no dark. You know what I'm talking about? A new heaven, a new earth, a new tree whose seed is in itself, or the tree of life. Then the stars are all the stuff, everything new. Everything new. Verse 13. Oh, that you would hide me in the grave, and you would keep me secret until your wrath be past. That you would appoint me a set time and remember me. If a man die, shall he live? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Then you shall call, and I will answer you. And you have a desire to the work of your hands. This man is literally telling you about the resurrection of the dead. But hold on. We got to stack them on top of each other. Swing over here to Job 19:25 on general principle. For I know that my Redeemer live, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed within me. This is how you know that Ezekiel 37 with the valley of the dry bones is talking about the resurrection of the dead. Because if the bones ain't got no flesh on them, and he had to put tendons on them, well, where did the flesh go? The maggots got it. Listen, this is still showing you how love covers sins, because you get the Ruach HaKodesh, and if you got the Ruach HaKodesh, that means you're resurrected from the dead. And if you're resurrected from the dead, it's because you believe that witness, because you heard the word preached, and that love covered your sins, because blessed is he whose iniquities are forgiven. Now let's go to Isaiah 33 with the heavens rolling away. Still holding Genesis 11 and Zephaniah chapter 3. Isaiah 33 ain't in his book. I said 33, I meant 34. I'm sorry. Isaiah 34 and 4. I'm sorry. And the host of Shamahim shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and their host shall fall down, and their leaf will fall off their vine as the falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and it shall come down upon Idumea, upon the people of my curse, to judgment. So remember, we talked about that the other night. He coming to crash Esau across his head. So this is the coming of the Lord. But this is not the new heaven and the new earth. Remember, he came as Solomon, but he's coming back as who? David. So what did David do? David fought the wars of Yahuwah and subdued the land in order for the children of Yasharal to dwell in it. So Mashiach is coming back as David, and he has to subdue the land by war to set it up to be a land of peace that Solomon had. See, that's what threw the people off when the Lord came. They thought he was coming as David, as a warrior, and he came like Solomon, a man of rest, because he was coming to give you rest. Always remember this here, man. If you want power and authority, blood got to be shed. Remember, Revelation said the nations are angry and they're mad because all their kingdoms become his because he taken them. He ain't asking for them. He doing the same thing that Yahushua son of Nun did when you came in the land. They went to war and took it. Sit down, sit down, sit down. So let's come to Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14 and 4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west. There shall be a great valley, half the mountain shall remove to the north, and half of it towards the south. Remember, when he ascended back into heaven, he left from where? The Mount of Olives. And the angel told them the same place you seen him leave from is the same place he coming back to. And you shall flee. Hey, sit down. Y'all need to relax. Y'all need to relax. And you shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal, and you shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, the king of Yehudah.
and Yahuwah your Elohim shall come, and all the saints with you. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahuwah, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. So listen, that's why the Lord say, won't nobody know the day he coming except his Father also. That's where that come from. And these dudes are supposed to know this. But notice he said at evening time it shall be light. You know why? Because he's going to recreate the creation at his coming. Because he's going to bring darkness on the earth and then say, let there be light. And here come the Lord smashing and crashing. But they're not ready for that part of the game. Listen to the next thing. And it shall be in that day, living water shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them from the former sea, half of them towards the hinder sea, in the summer and winter shall be. Remember, the new heaven and new earth, it won't be no summer and winter. Now, come over here to verse, what it is. 16, same chapter. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, because remember, we read it last night in Revelation 17, all the nations going to gather up to fight the Lamb. And and Joel chapter 3 tell you the same thing, because he said the valley of decision, he going to gather them all up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. See, what people look at a one world government, and it takes us back to Psalms 83, these people gathering up to fight God. That's why he gonna make intelligence with those who forsake the Kadash covenant. Oh, you ain't gonna have to do nothing to him. Look at when the Lord come back, you know what the elect gonna be doing? Stand still and watch your God work like Moses told your ancestors coming out of Egypt. You ain't got to lift up a finger. Guess what? What woman you know needed to help her husband save her? Your husband coming to save you. You the one in distress. You can't save yourself. That's what your husband for. That's what your husband for. He coming through. You ain't got to do nothing but stand still. Because if you had the power to take him out, you would. He told you in Deuteronomy 32, when he see your power shut up and gone, then he coming through. Said the same thing in Daniel 12. But a lot of brews don't want to hear that. Man, before this thing over with, this people going to be brought down to your knees. Tell you that in Jeremiah 50. A lot of dudes don't want to go through that because they don't believe. So he can't cover them with his ruach. That's why he say right this here, blessed are those who die in the Lord from henceforth. Thus saith the ruach, that they might rest from their labors and their works do follow them. If you die in the Lord, you ain't got nothing to be concerned with. Rest easy, baby. Rest easy. You ain't got no problems. You ain't got no troubles. How you going to have problems and troubles and you resting in the Lord? But see, these old goofball niggas, they not trying to teach us how to rest in the Lord. So we all going to go to hell. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, to keep the Feast of Tabernacle. If we was to go through Ezekiel 40 through 46, it'll talk about how the people come up with the feast and all this type of stuff. Because that's a harvest feast. And if it's a harvest feast, then guess what that means? It's summer and winter still. This ain't the new heaven and new earth. Let's go to Isaiah 65. And then I go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Thank you, William. Thank you. Just got to bring this stuff to mind. Y'all might have forgot. There it is. Isaiah 65 and 17. For behold, I create a new heaven and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. Be you glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people as a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. Now, how do we know that verse 20 ain't talking about the new heaven and new earth? Because what he said in Revelation 21, it wouldn't be there. No death. You know why? Because God don't die. So when you look in to Mashiach's kingdom. People, how do we know that? I wasn't going to read it, but now I got to read Ezekiel 38. Now come over here to Ezekiel 38 in verse 8. I don't know why people just jump in room, just throw their hand up like somebody's supposed to acknowledge you. Don't even know you. It'd be different if one of y'all did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I bring you right on up. There ain't no big deal. Nigga, I don't even know you, cuz. Amen, man. Amen. Listen, Ezekiel 38 and 8. After many days you shall be visited. In the latter years you shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword. That's what Zechariah 14 talking about. That's what Revelation 19 talking about. When he said that he come in righteousness and judgment to make war. And gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have always been waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Because he said he'll gather you. So this is telling you this guy who shot is the Lord. You've been delivered out of the land, out of the lands of your enemies. You dwelling in the land. He said, you shall ascend and come up like a storm. You shall come be like a cloud to cover the land. You and all your bands and many people with you. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, it shall also come to pass. At the same time shall these things come into your mind, and you shall think of evil thought, and you shall say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. To take a spoil and to take a prey, and to turn upon the desolate places. I'm going to drop down to verse 14. Therefore, son of Adam, prophesy and say unto God, thus saith Yahuwah, in the day when my people Israel dwell safely, you shall not know it. Shall you come from your place out of the north parts, and many people with you, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army? And you shall come up against my people Yasharal as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days. And I will bring you against my land, and the heathen shall know me when I shall be sanctified in you, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, you, he whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Yasharal, which prophesied in those days, years that I would bring you against them. Drop down to verse 22. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him and his bands, and upon the many people that with him are overflowing rain, great hailstones, fire, and brimstone. Now we'll read Revelation 20 and 4 on general principles. Because this is what Revelation is referring to. 20 and 7, I'm sorry. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed from his prison. Let me give y'all this here for those of y'all that don't know the passage that tell you Satan will go to jail. Come over here to Isaiah 24 and 23. 24 and 21, I'm sorry. You can make it 20 on the house. Shoot, 19. Isaiah 24 and 19. Because if it says Satan got loose from his prison, you need to know in the script where it said he will go to prison. The earth is utterly broken. Broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. It shall fall and not rise again. It shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. The host of the high ones refer to the angels. Remember Matthew 25 and 41 say, go to you to the fire, the lake of fire that's prepared for the devil and his angels. Listen what he say. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. And they shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed, when Yahuwah of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and Jerusalem before his ancients gloriously. So this is how you know where it's written that Satan go to jail. See, Satan don't go to hell. Satan ain't ruling in hell. When the Lord come back, Satan go to jail. Why does Satan go to jail? Because some people, why wouldn't he just take him out then? And Isaiah 2:1 and Micah 4:1, he tell you that all the nations will come unto Jerusalem and the law of Yahuwah will come from there. So for that one day he ruling, or the 1,000 years he ruling, and he teaching the people, he gonna let Satan out just to see if you niggas gonna obey me. And if you don't obey me to come want to run up on my people, I'm going to kill you dead. And you want to know why Mashiach don't fight him and the Father fight him? Because y'all already know what the law say. He say, when a man take a new wife, don't let him go to war. Let him stay home for a year and cheer up his wife. But for those of you who are not aware, come to Deuteronomy 24. Stop. 24:5. This is not the time. When a man shall have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war. Neither shall he be charged with any business. He shall be free at home 1 year, and he shall cheer up his wife, whom he hath taken. That's why the father take out Gog and Magog. Because he home with his wife. You don't got to go out to war. Mashiach already fought wars when he got here. To take his wife. He ain't got to fight the last battle. He ain't got to do that. So when we come back to Revelation 20:7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Hashatan shall be loosed out of his prison. And he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number which is in the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from Elohim, from heaven, and devoured them. Hey, y'all starting to get loud. I don't understand why. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So Gog and Magog, you can read Ezekiel 39. It tells you you'll go around and be burying the bodies of Gog and Magog. So this is the kingdom of the Mashiach. See, then it's going to transition into the kingdom of heaven. Now, Ezekiel 40 through 46 is not referring to the kingdom of heaven yet. But when you get to 47 and 48, it is. Because Ezekiel 47 and 48 don't really specifically mention when the new heaven and new earth come. Now, I'm going to read you John 5 and 25 and then 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. Yeah, because it's all because Emma asked that and I mentioned all that, but it'd been better just to show you. Five and 25. Truly, truly, I say unto you, the hour is coming when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Elohim, and they that hear shall live. This is that it's coming. How do we know this? 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. But I would not have you be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, and that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will Elohim bring with him. For we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and the voice of the archangel with the trump of Elohim, and the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first. Then which we are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds and meet the Lord in the air, and we shall ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. And you can read in Isaiah 26 where he tell you about that great trumpet, which is that last trump. And if you remember about memorial blowing the trumpets, it's different trumpets for different things. One for war, one for the gathering at the door. And how many trumpets you hear get blown in the book of Revelation? 7. So then when you go back and look at Numbers 10 about them trumpets, then you see why it's 7 different trumpets getting blown. That's why you have memorial blowing the trumpets, to remember what those trumpets are about. So it's a car, so it comes to remembrance. That's at the forefront of your mind, because every trumpet does not denote the same thing. See, all these niggas want to do is go get a ram's horn and blow on it. It's about understanding what you blowing a trumpet for. You got a trumpet of alarm. You got a trumpet for gathering. You got a trumpet for the people to move. That's why I say that, as John 7:50 say, the people who don't know the law are cursed. Most of these people don't know the law, so they can't explain it to you. So that you can see that the coming of the Lord don't play out just like it's written in the law. Why wouldn't it? Now, with that being said, let's go to Revelation 20. A trumpet, no. You know when the trumpet's being blown based off the things that go down. Say like with Jericho, how many trumpets did they blow for the walls to fall in Jericho? 7. And when that 7th trumpet get blown, all the nations fall. That's why you need to sit your behind down. But you're hard-headed. You're stubborn. You're indignant. Revelation 20:11. You know it wasn't nobody but muffin here. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face of the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place with him. See, and people argue with you that Daniel 7 is not Mashiach, when it literally say that there's a throne and he judging people. The man told you, I'll give you an example. In Kings, who did David give judgment to for his enemies? Solomon. So the father put into the son's hand to perform judgment. And then Mashiach say, the father judged no man. He give judgment to the son. And you think the father finna sit on the throne and judge sinners? He'd have to kill everybody. So that's Mashiach in Daniel 7. See, people can argue and go through all this stuff. No, that's something different. That's something different. When you get in Revelation 22, the 7th trumpet been blown. When the last trumpet get blown, all the nations fall. That's in Revelation 11. When that last trumpet get blown, it's, hey man, these people power gone. We got a whole lot of things to go through before we even get to any of that. You know what I'm talking about? Let me read that Daniel 7 since I said it, man. I have to come back more in depth with it, Genesis 11, Lord willing, tomorrow. Hey, quit playing. Quit playing. Which one is it? It's you. Hey, fat baby. Come on. Come on. Ain't no playtime. Ain't no playtime. Daniel 7:9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down. Notice when he said the word thrones were cast down. What thrones you think he talking about? Hold on, let me show you. Revelation 11:17. 15, excuse me. And the 7th Malachim sounded, and there was voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed. He shall reign over them forever and ever. 24 elders which sat before Elohim on their seats fell on their faces and worshiped God, saying, we give thanks, O Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, which was, and are to come, because you've taken to you great power and reign. And the nations were angry, and their wrath is come. And the time of the dead and they that should be judged, and that you should give reward unto your servants, the prophets, to the saints, and them that fear your name, small and great, and you should destroy them that destroy the earth. Now listen, the thrones that get cast down is the throne. Remember, it's 10 kings ruling, and one man sitting on the throne saying he God. He casting all them down. And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, his head like the pure wool, his throne like the fiery flame, his wheels as the burning fire. And y'all know, all you got to go read is Ezekiel chapter 1, and you see this same throne he's sitting on, that's a fiery flame. And how else do we know this? Because we can read it in Exodus 24. You know what I'm talking about? And you can read it in Revelation 6. There's the Lord coming on his throne to take these people down. a fiery stream issued and came before him. Thousands ministered unto him. 10,000s till 10,000s stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. And I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. This man telling you how he throwing the Satan into hell. Ain't that what you just seen in Revelation 20? But he said the books were open. And guess what Revelation 20 and 12 tell you? That this man sit on the throne and the books are open. This is when everything finna get wrapped up. Revelation 20 and 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it. Death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. Death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So, when you say that, so when you look at what has just occurred, you can come up on the second resurrection and still be spared. You know what I'm talking about? But it's a big risk. You want to come up on the first, because if you come up on the first, you're good. Revelation 20 and 4 and 5 already tell you that. You want to come up and you good. Now they mentioned in Revelation 22 with them 7 spirits. Yeah, that's something totally different. That's something totally different. Because when you get to Revelation 22, man, tree of life, water life, everything over, you chilling now, you with God, it's over. It's over. So I went on through all that to look at this. When we come back to Genesis 11, and we were talking about from Genesis, Zephaniah 3, about the people being a pure language. At that time, everybody spoke the same language, so everybody could call on God together. Everybody could call on Yahuwah together. There were no differences in language, no differences in speech. The word was administered to everybody the same. Now, we talked about this before, that Genesis 11 is the reverse of what happened at Pentecost. Because remember, he scrambled the languages at Babel, but at Pentecost, the confusion is ended, no mystery. He said, hey, with a different tongue, I'll speak to this people. That's what he told in Isaiah 28. So listen, verse what, 4? Genesis 11. And they said, let us go build us a city and a tower whose top unto heaven, and let us make a name lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of Adam builded. And Yahuwah said, behold, the people is what? One. And what he told you, how many bodies is it? One. One faith, one immersion, one baptism. So what you're looking at is they were trying to bring forth the work of God before the time. Can't do that right now. Remember he said to build a city and a tower. You can't build a city. The maker and builder is Elohim. That's what Hebrews 11 and 14 tell you. You can't be the strong tower because Yahuwah is a strong tower to run into to be saved. Then they said, let us make a name instead of having his name. See, they were trying to do this on their own accord. You know, kind of like the righteousness which is of the law versus the righteousness of God, if you will. He said they all have one language and they begin to do, and nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go let us down there and confound their language that they may not understand one another's speech. So Yahuwah scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth and left off to build the city. Therefore, the name of it is called battle. No, they did not go to war to make war with Yahuwah. That's what Mika men insert that in, that they were going to make war with Yahuwah. But the text don't say that. They said they wanted to make a name. They were concerned that Yahuwah would scatter them. They wanted to be one. Remember what the Lord say, he that gathereth with me, scatter not. He that is against me scatters. So they were saying, we all want to, amen, we don't want to be scattered from Yahuwah. We want a name in heaven. We want a city. We want a tower. We want to be with him. He like, nah. That'll scatter you abroad. See, to say that he went to go make war with them, It's a better story to tell. It's more provocative. Gets the people. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what it says. That's not what we're going down. Therefore, the name of it is called Babel, because Yahuwah did confound the language of all the earth, and from thence Yahuwah scattered them abroad upon the face of the earth. So when we go back to Zephaniah 3, and we read verse 9, and he said he'll turn the people to a pure language so they could call on him on one consent. It's going to go back to what it was before he scattered the languages. Now you won't be scattered. Everybody be gathered. Everybody can call on you, because now I've given you a city, and I've given you the tower, and I've given you the name. From beyond, this is verse 10, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, the daughter of my dispersed shall bring my offering. And in that day you shall not be ashamed for all your doings where you have transgressed against me. For then will I take away out of the midst of you them that rejoice in pride, and you shall no more be haughty because of my Kadash mountain. And I will also leave in you a midst of afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahuwah. The remnant of Yasharal shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, and they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. You notice this man say ain't nobody gonna be there sinning. But you got to be on that type of time before you get there. I'll end with Isaiah chapter 4 for all the loose meat niggas' favorite verse to try to get a woman to be their old lady. Because what a lot of people don't look at in Isaiah chapter 4 is Isaiah chapter 4 is dealing with the kingdom also. This ain't no passage about you getting no whole bunch of wives. That's not what this chapter is about. He said, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Let us be called by your name and take away our reproach. And for those of you who are not knowing, I don't have a great amount of time to go through it right now, but that's the 7 assemblies come to Mashiach. That ain't got nothing to do with nobody getting 7 wives. That's right, Omar. That's the 7 assemblies coming to the Lord. Because a man cannot take away a woman's reproach. Sin is a reproach to any people. Ain't what one person can take away reproach, and that is God. Not loose meat Willie. No, he can't do that. In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Yasharal. This is telling you about the kingdom. Remember, you brought back from the sword, you've been gathered out of many nations. It shall come to pass, he that is left in Zion, he that remain in Jerusalem, shall be called holy. Everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. If they're written among the living, guess what that means? They're written in the book of life, which is what? The genealogy in heaven. When you read Genesis chapter 2, and it said, this is the genealogy, that's literally Toledeth, which is the genealogy. See, you can see generations, excuse me. You can see generations, and you usually going to see Doré, which is a period of time. So that's how we know that every time you go outside and you see stars in the sky, that's representative of a name written in heaven. And I hope to God, if you look out your window right now, you see a star in the sky, that's your name you see. Because every star in the sky is representative of a son or daughter of Elohim whose name is written in the book of life. Because the heavens is literally the scroll. It's literally the book of life, the book of God, his offspring. But see, they don't want to talk about that, because all they want to talk about is the generations of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't want to be in the generations of the Almighty Elohim. That's why you have to be born again, because the seed is the word. And he said, Peter told you, you can't be born of corruptible seed, but you got to be born of incorruptible seed, which is the word. And these damn fools telling you ain't going to be born again until you resurrect from the dead. Damn idiot. Verse 4, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof, by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning, Yahuwah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies, a cloud, a smoke by day, a shining of flaming fire by night, for upon all the glory shall be a defense. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and a place of refuge from the covert and from the storm and the rain. So that is again, that's dealing with the gathering of the people. That's dealing with salvation. That's dealing with the kingdom of Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? But these people be lying to us, man. But hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. I appreciate y'all time. I didn't intend to go this long, but let Yahuwah be his thing. I appreciate y'all. I bless y'all the house Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, we'll be back tomorrow at 7:30. Do it again. Same Tuesday. Again, Wednesday, we'll play it by ear because depending when that storm they say it roll in, it might be peace to the cake. It might be more beneficial for people to stay at home. But we'll see how it look. So we're gonna have to pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? And be advised what the people talking about, because I don't know if the west side of catching is bad just based on where that storm coming from, but maybe well, most of y'all don't stay on the south anyway, so just pay attention and watch it because we got to be prepared because power might be out. You know what I'm saying? So, shoot, if the power went out when he came through Tallahassee, which is about an hour less away than what Tampa is, we'd have to be prepared for to do it again, especially if the storm's strong, as strong as they say that this storm possibly could be. Shalom, Tavon, hold it down. I appreciate you to die. So again, I appreciate y'all. I bless y'all the house Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I love y'all. You're with it, man. Till tomorrow. All right, Clubhouse, we out of here because we finna chew.